Welcome to the spaceship bunker basement.
Hey, this is Milz from America, and I am back with 3 tutorials, 3 for the price of 1. I am first one that you'll be seeing me do is the memory tutorial, where I'm going to show you some cool tricks that maybe you haven't really tried before. The second tutorial is going to be how exactly to deal with incompatibilities. So basically, I'm not just going to be regurgitating what you can already find in the manual. I'm going to show you exactly how to apply that, and realistically, when you're trying to pace along your buildups and layerings of your tracks. And the third mini tutorial I'm going to do is how to fade in and out, and I'm going to show you some tricks over on the memory button on how to do that. Okay, so let's get at it. Ash. So for our first tutorial, it is the memory volume. So basically, by the end of the tutorial, you'll be able to do this. Okay, so what exactly did I do? Well, if you were paying attention, I did something a little bit differently with the volume that we don't usually see. Okay, so instead of the master volume basically being done by the faders, I did this. Okay, so why exactly did I do that? Well, watch what happens when I do it with the faders. See if you think it sounds cleaner or a little messier, and then we'll compare your answer and we'll talk about why. Okay, this is not doing it the way I did. Whoops, sorry. Oh, by the way, another cool thing is if you're going to do that, and I'll show you later, your level is 0. So at the end of most tutorials, you want to make sure that if you're going to do it again for a battle, let's say your opponent is about to go and you're like, oh shoot, make sure I have everything ready. Okay, well you want to make sure that your settings are ready for when you do it again. So 0 to 100, and I'll explain the numbers in that later. Okay, during a battle you're not going to have time to write, but this is what I was going to do. Okay, so like I was started to say, I'm going to show you how it's not done this way, and I'm going to show you what happens. All right, so did that sound more convincing? In my honest opinion, no. I guess it started off okay when you had it like this. And then we kind of used this, and by the way, if you want to challenge yourself, you could do all 5, but for right now I'm just doing 3. And you can use whatever piano fingers you want to do it. So I started like this, and I tried really hard to, what's the word I'm looking for? To coordinate exactly what I'm doing. Wow. Now, this is just an example. This is Italia. I was trying to do a cool little swell. In classical music, we call it a swell. So some people can do this and this. But even to simplify it, even you really think I got from here to all the way here at the exact same time? The answer is no. So it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare. On your mark, get set, go, and this is the finish line. Do you notice how, and did you hear how before this kind of got to the finish line before that one and that one? Well, the answer is yes. So how do we solve that problem? This is how we do it. We do not use the faders. We go to memory. Now, memory, as if you've watched my previous tutorials, you can use a million other things, comp, reverb, input, and I've done all that. But today, to make it really super simple, memory. First thing you hit memory. How convenient. Level 100. Now you could go all the way up here And I would not do that because that kind of over compresses and you don't want that. So I would recommend at level 100. And it's 0 to 200. It's interesting because most other parameters stop at 100. So for this, be mindful you can go more, but I would not do that because it kind of messes up, like I said, the compression. So I want you to compare how to see if it's cleaner than when I was doing this method of the fading away. Just listen. See if these three sound way more synced and clean. Listen. Okay. Okay, so the answer is yes. Doing it this way was way cleaner than this because anything you do here impacts all of this. So my style, and remember I said if you're at 0, you always want to remember to go back. And if you have time, write it. Which we do because we're kind of chilling right now. So, and especially if you're on a live stream or something like that, or just Discord kind of messing around, I would recommend using the right. So, step 1 of the lesson is to demonstrate this. Step 2 is I'm going to talk about nuances. So how to use these 3 fingers and how you can kind of swell it. So, oops, my bad. So you can do things like, I call it a small swell and a big swell. A small swell is when you kind of, you know, like, let's say 86 to 92, something like that. A big swell involves more than just this. It involves more of your hand. So 40 all the way to 74. That's way bigger difference in numbers. So I started at 100, let it go, and then I kind of went maybe like 60, so basically like 100 to 60, about 40, and the last part down to 0. So basically, showing you that again, you'll see like roughly 160, 40, and 0. So watch it one more time, and then we're going to move on to the next tutorial. So you'll notice that sometimes I chose to do that entire musical phrase twice over, but that time, just for simplicity's sake, I only did it one time, so that was a little bit quicker. And so usually with battles, if you're into battling personally, I'm not. I'm more into artistic showcase, but if you're more into the battling, you're going to want to actually time out and actually take a phone, set it next to here, and actually really think through how many rotations of the phrase you want to go. Okay, so that's the end of our first tutorial. All right, so this is our second tutorial, and it's the Incompatibility tutorial. Now, first things first, I would recommend, if you have not used the user's manual, I would do that. This tutorial is not to just regurgitate what the user's manual is. So, I'm gonna apply it and show you some tricks. So, you're gonna notice, first of all, you have to have things on multi. I've showed you this many times. Memory. I would not do that. Sometimes you cannot do the shortcuts. So MB14 did a really good job of showing you shortcuts where you hit it and it shows up for you. Well, sometimes you can't do that. You have to do it old school. So memory and this. Or if you do the system, old school be system and then the arrow. So show you that again. Exit out memory. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Multi, and then for this purpose, I'm not going to show you TFX multi. This is more going to help you with input multi. Okay, exit that out, and just a real quick note that if you're on single, you don't have to deal with any incompatibility because you can screw through anything on A, anything on B, anything on C. Compatibility means when you're doing 2 or more things simultaneously. So multi, exit. Okay. So if I'm doing I'll show my lament. Whoops. Okay, so that was created with grand delay. Okay? Now, you're going to wonder why I have ring mod on when I'm not using ring mod. 'Cause listen to this track. Okay, that was made with guitar to bass. Now, you're going to notice parentheses, that means that guitar to bass is incompatible with granular, deals with frequencies, and that's not the point of this tutorial. So, if I'm starting the routine, I'm going to have to think through. Right now, you would have this set to do this. Oops, sorry, this one. But you want to figure out how to do this one. Okay? So that means we're gonna do grand delay. You have to actually press it and move it down to roll. You could go up to tape echo, but look what happens. You now see two parentheses, not just one, but two. So to save another way to save time, I know MB14 just released a tutorial on how to save time. He's talking about planning things out, and this would I guess you can call this an extension of that. If you see these things, you have to use common sense. You could go up to panning delay, but why would you do that if you can just go one down? So instead of going two up, just go one down. So remember that. If you have time, write it. If not, now look what happens. The parentheses disappear. So that's the objective of this lesson, okay? So, did you hear how now I can do my guitar to bass? Right? Okay, so now that's in there. Now, in order to go to our grand delay, this is what we do. If you try to go back up, it's not going to work. See, that's not good. It's not going to input. So, go back here. If you go to slow gear, trial and error, it's grand delay. It's still going to be in parentheses, so we don't want that. Go up to ring, okay? And why do we go up to ring? Because now look, I can go back and flip back and forth all day long and you're not going to see any parentheses. No parentheses, no parentheses, no parentheses, no parentheses. Now I can go through, do my grand. And so forth like that, okay? So now, because if you're planning things out, now you can do this. Okay, so let's speed that up, and then that'll be the end of this lesson. Okay, I got my EQ and whatever else I want to go. That's not the point. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of that tutorial. It's just knowing. Now keep in mind, grand delay is only one of many examples, just like GTB is one of many examples. So the reason why I chose these two particular examples is because they're very popular, not just because it's the routine I'm choosing to show it, but because grand delay, if you're more advanced, you know that grand delay is a very big thing going on right now, and GTB is just really good for laying down bass lines. Okay, so I hope you got a lot out, and I hope these shortcuts will help you build and layer your stuff faster. Thank you. All right, welcome to my third tutorial in this series. All right, this one is on how to fade in and out. So by the end of the lesson, you will be able to do this. abracadabra, right? At the end of the tutorial, you'll also be able to do this. Okay. So, how did I work that magic? Well, it depends. I chose to do the fade in and the fade out. So fade in, I was modeling with my hands of like the volume, or like an orchestra conductor would do that, right? The fade out, I started here and I went like that, right? Okay, so it depends. I kind of just, for demonstration purposes, I showed you how to do all five, so let's do that. So you're gonna have, it's one of those things that you have to go, and this is the manual way. You can go into a memory and you can do the assign thing, and you can assign something like, let's say this, and this can kind of turn it all off. But I think if you rely on that, it's not going to make you as flexible. Like, let's say you're switching and there's so many things going on in your mind. Like, let's say during one part of the thing you want to do this, and the next part you want to do that, then you have to go back and switch things. So I'm just going to show you the old school way to not make it complicated. So I'm just going to start with 1 and go on down the line. So let me show you that again. 1, all the way over with the right arrow. Now, the factory setting, I would recommend immediate. Actually, for both of them, the factory setting is immediate, I believe. So that means I press this, it starts. I press this, it stops immediately. But for this purpose, we're gonna get fancy. We're gonna choose this style, the fade out. And if you want to do that, fade in. Now, you don't for every track you don't have to fade in and out all the time. This is just for demonstration purposes. Okay. So now I'm going to show you. Let's say it's going and you want to fade it out. Like it's the last 20 seconds of your routine and you want to do it that way. Okay. So I'm going to get it turned on. We're going to pretend it's sounding. I'm going to switch it back to immediate. You see how fast I did that? 1, boom, boom. So take one hand, have it here, have your other hand already ready to go. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Exit. Okay. Great. Now, Inky, I forgot to mention that Inky did something really cool, where he held up his hands like this, and it was kind of to kind of show off that you don't have to put your hands on this to get things to start. So, this is what he did. Fade in. Same thing. See how fast? And then now watch. So I hope that made sense. Now, last thing I'm going to show you is you can actually adjust how long or how short you want things to fade in and out. So for that, again, you'd not want to use the shortcut way. You'd have to go the old school way, which I said about 10 minutes ago. You have to go over old school like this. And you would have to fade time. well, how long you want it to fade? Now you can go one measure. One measure is like how long it goes. So the only thing to please note, the time that you use that you ascribe here will be the same time that you use to fade in and out. So unfortunately, I don't think there's a way that you can really change that. I guess you could assign something. You could do the assign way and do it that way. But I would just do it 64. So if you did 64, it would take forever and ever and ever, and during a loop battle, you don't want to do that. And let's say you want to change it. You're in the heat of the moment and you want to change something. Well, this is how you do it. Just how long and how short you can fade. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. 2. So 4 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And you can change it so that it fades in and out faster, like that. 1 to 64. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. And that is all I have. So thank you very much. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed these 3 tutorials. I'm really glad to be back doing tutorials again. I know it's been a while. I've been working on, and actually as we're speaking, I'm already working on another routine. It's been a while since I made a new routine, but I've kind of been busy with competitions and trying to work with what all the judges have been telling me to work on. So I hope you enjoyed. At the end of this, in about 10 seconds, you're going to see a screen that shows my Insta. If you like it, please donate so that we can keep up the costs of all of these things and the camera, which is recording that you're watching from, to pay for pretty much everything, keep up the costs if things break and stuff, because this is not free, and I also went to a music university and I'm still paying off loans. So yeah. All right. I will also put in about 10 seconds. I will have my Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and if you like it, please make sure to hit the like button. If you want to comment, you know how to comment. Please keep it nice. And if you want to subscribe, we're almost up to 300 subscribers. So, Plesh, Esh, Smask, chess is a sport, money. See you next time.